What's up? What's up? What it do? It's Marcus Milano here with Rap Rejects, and I'm going to start from beginning to end explaining on how I mix and master sessions. So where do I start? Of course, you start the beats per minute. The beats per minute is 160 for the beat. To do the beat, you go to metering and BPM counter, play it. It'll give you the beats per minute. All right. Change it to that. Settings, you want to go and make sure that you're recording at 128. I don't want to go into the settings because it might mess around and change the settings in this. So I'm not trying to do it. It's 128 for whenever you record, you want to record or have your audio preferences to be set at 128. Whenever you're mixing and mastering, or you're done with the track and you want to finalize stuff and to help with CPU or your hard drive, you want to do it at 512. The BPM is the key component to how your delay effects and everything is snapped on the ruler, which is this. Your delay effects will go with your BPM. It'll be synchronized. On this, we have two main vocals. We have 1 and 2 for the punch in. So it's 1 and 2 for the main vocals. And then 3 for the dubs or the emphasisms or the background vocals, which is usually set at a negative 10 decibel. So whenever I was mixing this, the sweet spot was -4. You always want to listen to it where the snare barely overrides the vocal or it hits with the vocal, depending on the track. Of course, the beat itself, you want it at -10. I tried -7.5 in the past from people that suggested it to me. I didn't like it because you really can't hear the clarity. You can't really hear the vocal as good. So I left it at -10. You see how these are -4? And then you have -18 because he wanted it a little bit lower, but I usually suggest -14 for that because it's -10 from the initial vocal. And then adlibs, I put it at -15. Took the breaths out, took the blank spaces out, formulated it as such, to where you can't hear breaths and certain things, so it makes it sound clear. He suggested it. Shout out to Casey Player, by the way. Casey Player from GGO. I'm a GGO affiliate. I'm one of the official engineers and producers for GGO. So hopefully this doesn't mix. Okay, cool. Trying to think. All right, so I'm gonna press X. Brings up the board. So we're gonna go with. I'm gonna show you the main thing. So I already went into the levels. The buses, you're gonna want to do a bus 1 and a bus 2. It's gonna be H delay, H reverb. H delay, I have it on this depending on the track. I have it on ping pong. I have it synchronized with the BPM. and then I have it at a 1/8 tempo. It usually sets the default at 1/8 dotted. The reverb, I do a warm plate, but I do H reverb. Now here's the main breakdown on the vocals. You have channel equalizer to get away, like to bring away the bad frequencies, take the bad frequencies out. So I do a high pass filter. I bring down a little bit of the 500 hertz range. I use the C4, and to buff up the vocals a little bit more, I use C4 voiceover for the preset. All right. So that's what I use for the preset on that. I don't, as far as the channel equalizer, you can go crazy, you can change whatever bad frequencies. The best suggestion I would say is to go up. Whatever sounds horrible or whatever, sweep. You find a bad frequency, you take it down about -3 decibels. My favorite plugins for compressions are CLA 76A, CLA 2A. I believe that I've had a couple of more videos. Excuse me, I'm drunk. I've been drinking. Over this right here. Over everything primarily. I'm finna give you all my secret sauce on this. So, what you want to do is the sweet spots for show. I like the Blackie revision, analog off, because it gives back this feedback that I don't like. I keep the ratio at 4, the attack in the middle, which would be 4, release all the way cranked up. You want to really focus on clarity with this. You don't want to focus on loudness on this. So I usually crank the input up until it gets to in between the sweet spot of -3 to -5 on the compressor. Output, you want it to, whenever you play it back, you want it at -8 to -10 on the channel. CLA 2A is going to be used for compressing a little bit more, but it's for loudness. Peak reduction, you want it to be the same, -3 to -5. The gain, you want it to hit around I would say -8. So 2 decibels up from the initial one, if you're following me. Q10 is a broadband equalizer. I do another a high pass filter on, and I usually scoot it out a little bit more. On the first one, it was 85 or 86. This one is 80 to still bring in the lows. You definitely, I wouldn't mess with the 500 range. 1,000 is the sweet spot for your mid range. You want to bring up the 2,000, sweep it where you like it, and bring it down. 4,000, 8,000, 16,000. Not as much on the 16,000 though. You don't want to do super high, crazy frequencies for that. 125, you bring it up. 250, you bring it up a little bit. As you can see, you can copy it if you want, but it really depends on the vocal. He has a lighter vocal. He doesn't have a deep voice. It's more lighter. So I bring up more of the deeper frequencies for his voice. All right. JJP vocals. There it goes. JJP vocals. I usually leave it as is. Turn the space all the way down. There's other presets as well. I like KU. I like Warm. But I like the one that it just automatically comes up with when you click on it. Just turn the space down, keep it at mel. the first male. If you change it to these, it's gonna mess with it and make it more of an exciter, I would say, versus a vocal effect. It's also gonna bring the frequencies of the decibels up. So you're gonna want to turn it down because it's gonna sound loud. And then usually sometimes I have to turn it down to like -4 to -8, depending on. All right. Of course, you gotta have a de-esser. Sweet spot's usually in between -18 and -21. Just pull it up, put -18 and -21 on it, depending on if the vocals have a lot of S's in it. Some people, when they say S's, like me, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not even gonna cap. I have a few missing teeth. I also have an overbite. I also have two bigger front teeth than the rest. So when it comes to my S's, I might need to be on a -21 just so those S's don't sound like all up in there. Last but not least, X noise to get rid of the noise frequencies, the room frequencies, that subtle room noise that comes from doing all these enhancements. The bus 1, I sent it with a pre-fader. Bus 2, sent it with a pre-fader. All right. -45, -30. Main vocal. Just since you niggas might not be paying attention, main vocal, dubs, or background vocals and ad-libs. All right. Dubs, I like to use the doubler. The way it comes. Doubler. Ad-libs, I like to use a spreader, and I like to turn the intensity up to where it spreads in both headphones. But I use a different delay effect. I use the same reverb effect as the other ones, which is bus 2, because I'm sending it to bus 2 to have the reverb added. But I like to use Delay Designer, and I like to put feedback to where it has multiple echoes. I turn that part to -8.5, whatever you feel like. You can make it go more crazy within the part where it's just wet. I have that set at -9.4. Usually I have it over here right here where it's highlighted right here. But with this being a higher BPM track, I had it set like slower, so it goes. You'll hear it. Mastering track. See, I'm giving y'all all the jewels, all the sauce right now. Y'all better subscribe to me, bro. Y'all better subscribe to me, bro. I'm not playing with y'all. I'm very knowledgeable. I've been doing this since 2007. I produce for people from here in Texas, all over Texas, to Oklahoma, Louisiana, Florida, Maryland, Canada, UK, you name it. All right. So I've really Iran. I've mixed and mastered Nigeria. I've mixed and mastered Cali. And let me I can keep naming names of different areas of artists that I've mixed and mastered for, and they pay me for it, and they're all happy with the outcome. All right, so we're going to go into the mastering bus. Remember, mixing and mastering is not the same. I need to make a t-shirt. I really need to make a t-shirt. I think I might end up selling them things out. You know what I mean? Because mixing and mastering, that's why there's an and. Like, you know how and they have the emphasis or the plus or the ampersand and the plus or the plus. Mixing and mastering are not the same. Okay? Keep that in your head. When someone says I'm mixing and mastering something, no, mixing is not mastering. They think mixing your vocals is mastering. No. This is mixing. Mastering is everything in the stereo output. So you're basically okay, to dumb it down for people, mixing is mixing the vocals. Mastering is mixing the whole entire song. So whatever comes out of the stereo output, we're going to mix the beat and everything that's within the beat, vocals, everything. That's the master. All right. So I like to start with the Manny MEQ. I have a few things that I've implemented in this. I've never changed it. Doesn't matter what song I use this. Save these screenshot this, whatever you need to do, save this. Next step is the SSL comp, which is the SSL or solid state logic compressor. Save these sessions. Save this. Do what you gotta do. Screenshot, shoot this, whatever. Never changed it. Then we got the Aphex Vintage Exciter. I cannot read, bro. Hold on, let me take a sip for this real quick. Settings never change for this. Unless you have a song that's way more live, the AX mix, turn it up a tad bit, but I wouldn't go past 4 on the ratio. Save it as this. All right. Then we got Vitamin. I've never changed this either. I use this, whatever. I'm giving y'all so much stuff right now. Before I'm 2 plugins away, 2 from playing this, and y'all be like, oh my God. So yeah, save this. Now this one is the one you need to manipulate. But before I get to that, I'm going to pull up this. This is X Noise stereo. It gets rid of all the hissing, room noise, extra frequencies. So you use them throughout all the vocals, but you end up using it in the master as well because it's going to bring up everything and you're still going to hear it. This can't hear nothing. That's the cherry on the cupcake for sure. But the one that you really manipulate is this one. And this one is L3 Multi-Maximizer. I use a high-res CD master, threshold at -10, quantize at that, dither at that, shaping at that, everything, boom. The only thing, and then you want the out ceiling to be at a -0.2. Now, here's the thing. Whenever you listen, if you want it bass heavy, I think the biggest, or I would set it at 1.5 for the gain on the low end for bass. You can mess with the gains on the other ones. I wouldn't really mess with this because it sounds horrible already. Hold on. Keep that at 0. You really want to focus on the highs, the mids, and the very lows. So as you can see in the lows, I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I can hear it. If you got headphones, you probably can hear it. The highest, if you want it like bass heavy, 1.5 for sure. You can mess with this a little bit too if you want, depending on the vocals. But with his vocals, we're going to go with this, the mids. You can hear how it goes with the vocals. She said that I'm chosen. I know that love a drug, but what's the good and bad, the potions? I'm a top. Then, of course, the mids. I think you the one. She said that I'm chosen. Which brings you in between the 1000 to 4000 spectrum, which you want. Now, I will play this. Matter of fact, I will play this mixed, not mastered, so you can get the different feel for it. This is mixed. And then you could tell by the decibel reader too in the stereo output channel of what we're looking at. All right.
I think you the one. She said that I'm chosen. I know that love a drug, but what's the good and bad, the potion? Traumatized, but in a moment, knowing that I could be open. For everybody, I do my thing, but for me, I can't control it. I'm knowing that ain't right, but I go left for where my heart at. I'm knowing that ain't light, but in the dark where I got my start at. I'm knowing that ain't life, but go through it, you'll understand.
All right, so it sounds good, but it's not complete. So whenever I add these into the master, the one thing I like about the master is the vocals, they can go above 0 decibels, and that's whenever the track clips, it'll turn red. So far the peak was negative 1.9, but I want the stuff to be steadily at the peaking part would be negative 0.2. I add these, it's going to bring loudness out, but it's also going to keep it under there to where it doesn't clip, doesn't hiss, doesn't sound crazy in your car.
I think you the one. She said that I'm chosen. I know that love a drug, but what's the good and bad, the potion? Traumatized, but in a moment, knowing that I could be open. For everybody, I do my thing, but for me, I can't control it. I'm knowing that ain't right, but I go left for where my heart at. I'm knowing that ain't light, but in the dark where I got my start at. I'm knowing that ain't life, but go through it, you'll understand. I'm knowing that ain't a fight, but what's better than God's plan? So I'm saying, I done gave away so much, but I still land. Know I'm with you like 2 footprints in the sand. Always us, the only move, protect the brand. I'm all in, so what's your plan? So what's your plan? So what's your plan? I'm all in, so what you saying? Breathe to live a life, been through the worst, I'm living.
All right, so last thing before I jet out, and this is just for y'all's knowledge. You see, I did this. I took the beat out. Remember, that's whenever the beats per minute and the ruler comes in handy. There's a area that you want highlighted where you don't want the beat in it. You want them to know what you're saying. You take the beat out, usually right after the word or right when the word starts, and then make sure that the kick is involved with the breakdown. So watch.
Protect the brand, I'm all in, so what's your plan?
All right. Now, to save this. Oops. No. You're going to file, you're going to go to bounce. We're trying to get, okay, so I don't have nothing selected for real, but for PCM, which is waves, today's format would be wave 24-bit. You would really want it at a 48. Interleaved, dithering none. Offline, normalize off. Then you press OK. Now, MP3, you want the bit rate mono at 128. You want the bit rate stereo at 320. You want to use the best encoding, quality highest. Stereo mode, normal. Mode offline, normalize off. And if you share this song, let me push this keyboard up so I can go ahead and put my elbow right here. If you decide to share this with somebody, do not airdrop it. Do not text message it. Send it via email. All right. Main reason why is because it's going to lose the quality. It's going to automatically convert as an M4A file. Like how, like a WAV file is supposed to be around 35, 40, 50, 60 megabytes. MP3 from sessions I've seen is roughly around 4 to 10 megabytes. How can you send something and then it automatically sends it to the person and it's like 1 megabyte or 2 megabytes? The stuff is compressed. do not send that to the artist. Send that to the artist in email with the full-fledged quality. But other than that, man, let me know what y'all think. Um, yeah, I think I covered the basics um of this and how I do this stuff. I've did trial and error, and I've been producing and engineering since 2007 professionally. So, um, if you think you have something that even closely relates to this, or if you want to give me some knowledge that I want to test out, I'll test it out. But let me know and subscribe too, man. I appreciate y'all for joining in, man. I don't know how long I've been doing this. Oh, 25, almost 26 minutes. Oh, man. I thought this was going to be simple. But it really is simple. I just want to make sure people get it. And I want to make sure everybody got that crisp sound. I care about my subscribers. We've reached 278,000 views on this channel the last time I checked. And I'm approaching 400 subscribers. So I appreciate everybody. And the birthday happened April 17th as well. This is what the foundation of the channel initially started on. But of course, other people care about rap news and other niggas versus knowledge. Sad facts, but that's what it is. I had to become relevant somehow, so I'm gonna do rap news. Podcast coming soon, and this. So we're just gonna continue on with the formula. The formula's working, the recipe's working. So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all. It's Marcus Milano with Rap Rejects, man, and I'm at, you know what I'm talking about. Let's get it.